So I'm 35 years old, and I recognize in the grand scheme of things that's not terribly aged. I mean, sure, if I were still working as an actor or trying to be a pop star or a ballet dancer, then yes, I would be ancient at this point. But heck, 35 is less than halfway through the expected lifespan of an adult male at this time and this place and this point in history. And yet, despite all of that, I'm keenly aware that death is practically a heartbeat away. We are only given a very brief amount of time on this planet. And for some of us, it will be many decades. For some of us, it will be only a few decades. For some of us, it might even be less than that. But no matter how much time you are gifted, and there is no guarantee for any of us that we have any length of time, right? We have this very moment in which our heart is beating and our lungs are working and our brain is firing, but we are guaranteed no moment past this very one. We will still feel like our life was brief. Because of this feature of our mind called hedonistic adaptation, where we get used to whatever our surroundings are, they start to feel normal. They start to feel like things we can take for granted. Time begins to move quicker and quicker and quicker. When we are a young child and everything is new and our mind is constantly working to discover, to discern, to make sense of the things that we're seeing and finding and tasting and touching, time moves very slowly. But as we've gotten older and become accustomed to this world, time goes faster and faster and faster. And I can remember being younger. I can remember having older adults tell me about this phenomenon, that time will go by faster than you ever think. But now here I am at 35, really feeling how true it is and how with every passing year, time somehow accelerates. And I know that it will be but a blink of an eye before I am 70, if I make it that long. I've been reading some really interesting books lately, one of which is the fabulous 4,000 Weeks. The idea that the average human lifespan is only 4,000 weeks long, which is not a terrible amount of time when you think of how quickly a week goes past. Another was the very interesting and engaging book, Do Nothing, about how we are overworked, overstressed, and not finding meaning in life. And it leaves me asking the question, what is the point of it all? If we really are here for only what feels like, in retrospect, a few heartbeats, what is the point of it? Is it to become rich, famous, leave our mark on history so that future generations will venerate us and remember us? Is it to make the world a little bit of a better place, to leave it a little bit more of a kinder, cleaner, more compassionate sort of abode than we found it? Is it to have fun? Is it to just relish life, enjoy it, suck the marrow out of whatever life wants to bring us? I mean, I have my own feelings and answers to those questions, but ultimately that is a personal decision. There is no one answer fits all for every human being on this planet about what is your purpose here? What is the meaning of life? That's something you're going to have to reckon with and find your own answers for. But realize this, you might live to be 50. You might live to be 95. You might live to be 25. But no matter how much time you are gifted, it will not ever feel substantial enough. You will wonder, where did the time go? Did I use it effectively? Could I have made more of my time that I've been given? And for me, I think that's why it's so important that we make the best decisions we can in the moment for how we're using that time. That we're surrounding ourselves with people who love us and support us and bring out our best qualities. We do things that we find meaning in, that we explore things that bring us joy, that we create or co-create or collaborate in some way that we find meaningful. And we're never going to make perfect choices. We're never going to find the ultimate solution of how we should be using this time. And decisions we make may not feel like they were the best decisions in retrospect, but as long as we chose, that we were an active participant in the process of how we use these collective weeks we are given, then at least we can say, it may not have been the best choice, but I chose with my full heart. I chose enthusiastically. I made the choice to spend almost 7 years living in an ashram and a meditation community from the time I graduated college through my early mid-20s. And at that time it felt like, oh, this is the best way I could spend my young adulthood, that I can really ground into myself and learn these techniques. And while I don't regret that time, part of me now, as a decade later, looking back saying, maybe that wasn't the best use of your early 20s. You gave up a lot of opportunities as a young man that you don't have as a 35-year-old, whether it's as an artist or an actor or things where youth is a commodity that cannot be traded. You know, I gave up things that I wasn't realizing I was giving up by putting that time into that area of development. Would I choose differently for my younger self at this point? Yeah, I would, especially realizing how people running that center were far more manipulative and far more uncaring of who I actually was than I thought they were, that I was just being highly manipulated. But at least I can appreciate the fact that I was making an active choice to be there, and it felt like a good use of time at that moment. We are not guaranteed another moment on this planet beyond the one we are in. We are not guaranteed this evening, we are not guaranteed tomorrow, we are not guaranteed next week. We are not guaranteed that the people we love will be there. We're not guaranteed that our jobs, our health, our well-being, our mental faculties will be there. We only have this moment. I just returned from Europe where I was on a riverboat cruise with largely people who were septuagenarians and octogenarians, people in their latter decades of life. And I often reflected to my husband that, oh my gosh, I don't want to wait to travel and have these experiences till I'm 70 years old, 80 years old, 90 years old, because it's a very different experience of trying to navigate small European cities when you can barely walk, when you can barely move. Don't put off the things that matter to you. Don't wait for that perfect time when everything's in alignment and you have enough money and you have enough support and you have enough knowledge to do the things that matter. If something is important to you, if something fills your heart and makes you excited, then please go explore it now, because you may not have another moment. And even if you do, there's no promise of what condition you'll be in then. You only have right now. So how are you going to make the most of it? Because I promise you, no matter what age you find yourself, if you're 22, 35, 71, time is only going to slip by faster and faster. And you're going to look over tomorrow and realize, wow, my life is mostly behind me. Death is coming for all of us. You cannot escape it. But if you live enthusiastically, if you live with purpose, and if you remember and can tap into that sense of immortality, that sense that you are something ancient and wise, and that this beautiful gift of a life you've been given is but one bead on a long string of beads, a long necklace, and that there will be further adventures past your demise, just as there's been previous adventures prior to your birth, then the passing of time becomes a little less ferocious. When you feel the timelessness of your soul and realize that you are something ancient and eternal, that you have always existed, you always will exist, it becomes less burdensome. Because I know each of us, regardless of our age, regardless of how much we're aging and we see cracks and wrinkles and saggy bits in the mirror, we know we don't really feel that different from when we were 20. Our internal self doesn't change that much. Our internal self is timeless. So you're going to die soon. Get used to it. You might have more time than you think, you might have less time than you think, but it's going to arrive sooner than we anticipate for all of us. I'm Kalen. This is Ecstatic Self, hopefully giving you a little something to think about as you go about your day. If you ever want to explore these deeper questions together, please know I offer one-on-one coaching so we can discuss similarly morbid topics together. Thank you for your time and have a blessed day. Namaste.